Hello, y'all. Today, myself, my sister will be joining in a minute. We'll be doing presidential elections in American history again. If you are new to the series, don't start here. We're already over 100 years into elections. Start at part 1 with 1780 to 1789. For the love of God, don't start here. So yeah, let's get started.
Mr. Beat presents Presidential Elections in American History. The 25th presidential election in American history took place on November 4th, 1884. Chester Arthur had become president after the assassination of James Garfield. His health had been declining, though, and he honestly didn't know if he would make it another term if he ran for re-election. Still, a lot of people wanted him to run, so he gave it a try. James Blaine, the former Speaker of the House and Senator from Maine, was the favorite for the Republican nomination, but George Edmunds, a senator from Vermont, also had a good chance to win it. Two notable people that many wanted to run were Civil War General William Tecumseh Sherman and Abraham Lincoln's son, Robert Todd Lincoln, who at this time was the Secretary of War. Both Sherman and Lincoln strongly did not want to run for president, no matter how much people tried to talk them into it. Ultimately, the Republicans went with a name that many already recognized throughout the country, James Blaine. He was nominated, with John Logan, a senator from Illinois, as his running mate. The Democratic Party chose Grover Cleveland, the governor of New York, who was known as a man of integrity who spent much of his career fighting political corruption. So I don't know why the heck they nominated him. The Democratic Party went with a familiar face for Cleveland's running mate, Thomas Hendricks, the former governor of Indiana, who ran for vice president on the ticket with Samuel Tilden back in 1876. Remember that one? He won. I mean, he lost that one, but was back for another try, this time with a different classical liberal. There were several third parties this election. The Greenback Party was back for a third try, hoping to gain even more momentum. They nominated Benjamin Butler, the former governor of Massachusetts, with Absalom West, a plantation owner and former Confederate general from Mississippi, as his running mate. Talk about odd couple. Another political party that was continuing to pick up momentum and continuing to hate alcohol was the Prohibition Party. This time they nominated John St. John. That's his actual name, and that's his actual mustache. A former governor of Kansas, with William Daniel as his running mate, a lawyer and politician, go figure, from Maryland. The second notable woman to run for president, Belva Ann Lockwood, ran with the Equal Rights Party. The former teacher.
You know what? I'm
voting for James Blaine. James Blaine.
Here's the funny part. James Blaine is from Maine.
No, James Blaine.
Oh my god, his name is James Blaine with an N. Anyway, I like both candidates, but I don't think that, I know Blaine has strong intentions, but I don't know if he could be the president of the United States.
It was a that you didn't ask me, Nick William.
You want to call me Nikki?
Anyway, so I'm voting for Grover Cleveland.
James Blaine.
Teacher? And principal was the first female to appear on actual ballots. So that's pretty cool. Yep, she's Grover Cleveland won, becoming the 22nd president in American history. He received 219 electoral votes, and James Blaine received 182 electoral votes. But this is a little deceiving, as the election was a lot closer than this. In fact, if it weren't for Cleveland barely winning his home state of New York by just over 1,000 votes, he would have lost this election. New York had 36 electoral votes up for grabs, and thanks to our lovely Electoral College, Cleveland got all of them. It was a narrow popular vote overall, with Cleveland winning 48.9% and Blaine winning 48.3%. John St. John and his mustache finished third with 1.5% of the popular vote, and Benjamin Butler finished fourth with 1.3% of the popular vote. All other nominees got less than 1%. Thomas Hendricks became the 21st vice president in America.
You know what? Grover Cleveland won, and I'm pretty happy at this point. It was a narrow victory though.
I'm probably going to vote for the person who Nico chooses. So, but I'm going to be back real quick. I'm just going to ask out.
Also,
Adults!
Other than
A
Chester.
question. Okay, so you do it, Nico. Okay?
Okay. So, fun fact. Grover Cleveland was the first overweight man to be elected the President of the United States. Let's move on to the election of 1888. Guess who's back? Grover's back.
If you are sick of paying too much money for electric
Oh, wait, I
bills
wasn't supposed to sing
and
that
you
till
have a
next
meter that looks like
Spoiler
this
alert.
on your home, you can get paid today to switch to solar.
Mr. Beat presents Presidential Elections in American History. The 26th presidential election in American history took place on November 6th, 1888. My birthday again. Is that why I love this stuff? Grover Cleveland had a solid first term. The country was at peace and the economy fantastic. He even got married to Frances Folsom, who at 21 years old became the youngest first lady in American history. Cleveland was a fairly popular dude with lots of integrity. If Cleveland was alive today, he'd be called a libertarian. He vetoed a lot of bills, tried to reduce government spending, had a non-interventionist foreign policy, and wanted free trade. Cleveland was unanimously renominated by the Democratic Party, which was special because this was the first time a Democratic president had been renominated since Martin Van Buren in 1840. Since his former vice president, Thomas Hendricks, had died while in office, he needed a new one. So the Democrats nominated Allen Thurman, a former senator from Ohio, to run with him this time. You know how I mentioned free trade earlier? Well, many people were upset with Cleveland's free trade leanings, and they wanted a higher tariff to protect American industries. Many Americans in industrial states wanted to vote against Cleveland because they feared losing their jobs, and they looked again to the Republicans. James Blaine decided not to run for president this time because he feared he might just further divide the Republican Party. He backed both Benjamin Harrison, a senator from Indiana and grandson of former President William Henry Harrison, and John Sherman, who again was a senator from Ohio and running a second time. The Republicans went with Harrison because he was a Civil War veteran who was popular with other veterans and could give a darn good speech. Oh yeah, and he lived in a swing state. Bonus. Thanks, Electoral College. Levi Morton, a New York City banker and former representative and minister to France, was his running mate. It's time for third part.
Hello. So I love both candidates, but
I'm picking the fastest one.
why the fattest one? Anyway, the only reason I'm gonna go, yeah. Pumpkin, why would you say that?
Because most of these been... What was it called again?
Skinny dudes?
Yeah, most of these been skinny dudes, and I'm picking for the fattest one so he can... I want to say something.
yet.
I'm gonna vote for William Taft.
William Taft doesn't run till 1908. We're only at 1888.
William T. Nichols.
So I look at.
Oh, you don't.
So with that, I'm gonna vote for Grover Cleveland because I think.
Sorry. I wasn't trying to ask you.
Because I think that Benjamin Harrison's high tariff policies.
Benjamin Harrison. He's the fattest person who we had.
Actually, Grover Cleveland's the fatter of the two. Well, anyway.
I vote for Poopy Dude.
Poopy Dude? Why Poopy Dude?
Because somebody's named Poopy Dude who's about to run for president.
There's no one called Poopy Dude that's about to run for president.
Huh?
I have a hoodie somewhere that says Pooper Duper.
But yeah, I'm voting for Cleveland, so I'm going to let the results play and then go on to 1892.
Poopy Dude is his middle name.
I need you guys to
No,
pause.
it's not.
Hey,
Yes, it
I
is.
need you guys to pause real quick, please.
Okay.
But yeah, like I just said, I'm going to let B
And
click
I also have trash for you to take out.
through results
I'll
and
only wait until tomorrow for that. But
then we
Results. Benjamin Harrison won, becoming the
I voted
23rd
for
president in
him.
American history. Whoa, hey now. He probably would have won anyway, as Cleveland couldn't.
you know
I
what?
voted for him. You lose, you lose, you lose.
You know what? I don't lose because A, it was a very close vote. Please stop, pumpkin. B, Cleveland won the popular vote, meaning he got the most votes overall. And C, I don't like Benjamin Harrison's high tax leanings. I don't like it. I think it's going to destroy the American economy.
Eat water bottle.
But you know what? I'll give him a chance. I'll give him 4 years.
Even win the electoral vote in his home state this time. Back in 1884, he was
Eli, you paused the video.
lucky to win New York and
Hey,
give him
I'm
the election.
pumpkin.
This time, if he would have won New York, he would have been reelected